That works.
Hello, everyone. I accepted the challenge from them. So what was my homework? What I do here at the BioSense, I try to see what these great people here do and to help them to really bring their innovations and their science closer to the market and to make some money of that. So I really hope that this team later on, when they finish the project, will be able to form one startup company and start to offer commercial services to the wide range of stakeholders here. So I spent some days exploring, first of all, getting to know, diving deep into what is NbS and how it works. What are the startups around the world who offer NbS services, NbS? And I did some analysis and to see how the guys here from the BioSense and externals could form a startup company after the project, after they get the expertise and the data and so on, and what they can deliver here in Serbia. I think that we really desperately need in Serbia this kind of expertise because we are facing many challenges. And whenever I analyze any startup or any idea, I first start from the problem. First, this is the problem, as you already know. I won't go deep into this because you're better experts than I am regarding the natural habitat loss. And this is really a huge issue in Serbia. I want to say that last year, for those of you who don't know, we had 60 days without rain. It was a really huge drought. And we lost, I know for the corn, we lost 30% of corn last year due to drought. So it was really huge impact for us and for our economy. And I personally have a few friends who are farmers, and they told me that on their farms, the loss was even higher. It was 40% regarding the crops.
Yeah, so, to add to that, we didn't have reproduction in European ground squirrel population as well due to the same thing. So like nature is responding, so it's really going tough.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, please feel free. No, please feel free to stop me at any moment if you have to add something. This presentation is going to be the shortest one. It's going to be 10 slides, 15 minutes. So please bear with me. I know it's after lunch, so maybe you're sleepy, but okay. So and how I see, I analyzed a few startups from the world and how they are, what kind of problem they're targeting. All of them, they're saying, okay. Nature-based solutions are very important because of the biodiversity and the carbon storage, water quality and soil health, and then at the end, it all affects us like human well-being. So this is the problem. And the solution, what I see here, I didn't find any similar tool like this one. And I think that if the guys here, I know that I spoke with Tiana that in the next 6 months, you will have really intense on-field work in collecting data and everything. But once you collect really all the green data sets, which includes what is the nature infrastructure around us and so on, that you will be able really to provide the great services. So let me give you one example. In Novi Sad, they plan to build one residential area in the place where at the moment it's a natural area. So how I see the NbS team is that they will be able to provide to our local government and also to anyone who's looking, okay, if you build this residential area here, this will be the impact. Okay, this is our assessment. And in any case, if you decide to do that, if you want to do it along with let's say nature-based solution policies or recommendations, you should do it in the following way. So I think that all of this data will be great for many groups. Let's take, I listed here a couple of the services, how I see that NbS team could be offering. And later on, I will show you what Serbian government is looking at the moment, what kind of tender they have and what they need. And this is exactly what the NbS team will be able to provide. So I see that you can provide consulting, case study experiments, impact assessment, okay, spatial tool you will have, and then also you will be able to set up a living lab for a specific occasion, specific topic. Who could be your customers? Public institutions, you know, already for that. I think that two girls before me, they spoke about that a little bit. Farmers. When I asked the guys here how the farmer could benefit from you, I got one example that maybe I want to share with you. So I'm a farmer from nearby, and I planted 10 fields of apples, and I want to increase the pollination. So I think that this tool will be able, based on the nature around that area, will be able to provide, okay, around, if you want to have enough pollination for your apple fields, you need this specific flower belts around you in a specific amount. Tina, you're not.
No, I'm just thinking of it. No, I'm just go.
Yeah, I'm imagining already.
Well, I didn't say that, huh? Yeah.
No, yeah, you said it's you asked farmer, and that's what farmer responded. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and especially I just want to reflect on a previous presentation. They really spoke about some nature-based solutions, but maybe on a bigger scale. I think that this thing could offer really on a small scale and find some niche market that they can serve. It doesn't have to be a nature-based solution policy for entire Serbia or something. It could be really micro service for one farmer, or micro service just for one small region or one small village. And during analysis of the startups in the world that are based on nature-based solutions, some of them that are successful, they really found their niche, some small group of stakeholders that they're serving with their service. The current solutions, you already, in the last presentations, you saw some local initiatives. That was one case in Kraljevo. There are also consulting firms, global platforms, isolate initiatives, research institutions are also working on that, and NGOs. What I think it will be a competitive advantage of the NbS team is that they will be able to provide something different because they will have that tool that usually all of those they cannot provide. And especially the BioSense have multidisciplinary team and I think that all of them will be combined in the NbS team. So it will be people from our Center for IT, people with domain knowledge from biology, and also it will be us from the Center for Business Development and Innovation.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's strange. We have two names for our center, so sometimes we
BDD. It was easier.
Yeah, Business Development Department. It was easier. Yeah. Okay. So how I see that NbS team could benefit to users is by really helping them with CO2 mitigation, soil health improvement, biodiversity support, community well-being, reduce pollution, and improve pollination. For you who don't know, who are not from here, we have really high problem with air pollution during the 6 months every year, and this is especially the case in villages and in smaller environments where, due to heating with the coal and the wood, the air is highly polluted. You know, so I think that any local or regional government who want to implement something, I think the NbS team would be a partner to provide them suggestions how to achieve what they are looking for. Market size. Okay, this is the part that I did research for. How big is the global market? So every time when you are building something, when you're creating some product, you need to know, are you building that just for one company, or you have a bigger market to address? So this means actually how many of customers you have here. Here in the back is our colleague Sanja. She's also very experienced startup founders. So they were also, while they were starting their business, they were also checking how big is the market for their startup idea. So I did how big is the market for the NbS team. And I focused on the Serbia and the region. What I found is that there are they're around, oh, doesn't work on the TV. So I found out that there are around 50 institutions in Serbia that could potentially use your services. There are around 500 agricultural-related SMEs that would need your expertise once you really advance in what you're doing at the moment. And there are also some renewable energy companies. So this was maybe the most important finding for me. I already shared this with the team from SONATA project, but while I was scanning this and while I was looking for some real use of guys your expertise, I found out that at this moment our Ministry of Environmental Protection is looking for around 10 services that you can respond to. I just listed some of them. For example, development of software for nature protection and biodiversity preservation. I spoke with the guys from SONATA, and you said that you can deliver that also with the people from our IT department. So this is something that really, with the expertise learned here from SONATA, later on we can respond to something like this. Also, the last one is the influence of forest protected belts on improvement of soil condition and quality and so on. So even at the moment, there is a need for your service. And I believe like once you advance in your knowledge and expertise, that you will be able to really provide your services to the wide range of stakeholders. What are the next steps? You already started doing validating stakeholders. Okay, first of all, we validated market needs. What I showed you is just a part of the market research, just a little bit. The second step would be really stakeholder mapping. Out of those 50 institutions that I mentioned, we should find few of them, build partnership with them, and then while we are doing prototype development, that we do a pilot project. But you already have the pilot project that is in place, and I really hope that pilot project will show the real value of what you're doing. And once you show to anyone real value, I think it will be the word of mouth. People will hear for the NbS team and your expertise, and then it will be easier really to establish, start a company and start offering that service. And the last one is the marketing strategy. I believe that throughout this period of 3 years, you will really find out who will be your niche market, and with your expertise and the real needs in Serbia, who could you serve? Maybe you will realize that you bring the most value to farmers. Maybe it will be a local or regional government. Maybe it will be some SMEs, some small companies. But throughout this period, I will also help you out with that. I think that after 3 years, you will really know who you are targeting at.
I guess I hope so.
I also got a task from Tiana's husband to help her to find to build a sustainable business, because based on his thoughts, based on his words, Tiana always has some business idea that's not so profitable. So I will be here trying to help out to make something.
Make some profit.
Yeah. Just to make some profit. Yes.
And he did consult him. I heard that he said.
Yeah. So yeah, he called me and said, please just profitable. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you really much for doing this. It's a real pleasure for me to be around these smart people for working towards the better life for us. And thank European Union and SONATA for funding this. And if you have any question, please feel free to reach out. And I really would like to ask the colleagues from abroad, the partners, to help us to shape this idea, maybe to share how it works at your country. Did some of you or some other organization made a profitable business out of the NbS services?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Answer that directly. I don't.
No, we don't. I mean, I used to work at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences, and there we had the business, basically a sort of startup help or a special section working with the commercialization of the work. But Nina, we don't. We're quite sort of. We're not really in that domain. So, but,
Yeah, maybe later on we can exchange
Yeah,
some information. We can
absolutely.
connect
But
with
I'm
me.
sure we could find out.
Yeah. So any.
I have a question for you. By doing this market research, does NbS startups, like where they are based mainly? Like, is it Northern Europe, USA?
States and Western Europe.
So they do exist.
Yeah. I have a list of them, so I can.
I'm just puzzled, like how, yeah. And I'm really, it was interesting to say what your farmer respond after asking him what he would basically. It was really cool. I would like to talk more with the farmers and like just what do you need and how, but not for the project purpose and like to feel KPI, just like to hear something like that, like when you have chit chat. Yeah, it was nice.
If anyone else wants to make money like Tiana and get some idea, please feel free to reach me out.
Keep your skills and invest them in research, and then we will see the video.
At the moment at BioSense, we're really encouraging people to think regarding commercialize their science or start startups. At the moment, we have 4 startup teams that are into, let's say, process of starting their startup, and we applied for several grants, and now we're in that pitching process that we are pitching in front of the expert commission, and if we get granted in a few months, we should start a few more startups here at the BioSense.
So you have like 4 startups ready, like pitching, and 1 existing. So it's like
we have 1 existing and 4 more that are now in that process.
Now I'm just trying to count what I nice.
Yeah. So
I didn't know.
So can I ask for you, because so Nina, we're an independent research foundation. We own ourselves as our director says, and we can do whatever we want. But one of the things we're currently or sort of constantly struggling with is to what degree do we go into the consultancy market? I mean, from my point of view, we're a research institute. That's our sort of core. And whatever we do, it has to be based in good science and good research. But you can sort of, depending on how much money you have and how desperate you are, you can move more or less into the sort of consultancy market. And of course, in the consultancy market, you can also get sort of profits in terms of both money, but also new data, new collaborations. I mean, from my perspective, we should only go there when it's strategically important for us to do so, not just to make money, because then we become another consultancy company, and that's not our role anyway. So I'm just wondering from sort of Bio's perspective, how far are you sort of interested in going in that direction? So to challenge you a bit, because, for me, it's really important that it's focused. I mean, the research, that's really what you sell. I mean, that's at the core of what you're doing. I mean, there are lots of consultancies out there doing NbS work, for example, on landscape architects and selling that kind of, let's say, competence. But for me, this is hopefully something more, but just sort of,
If you ask me, and as you heard the comments, I'm that non-profit mind, so I would also, I can speak for myself. For myself, it's just like research and research-based consultancy. But I don't know what is the strategy of the BioSense Institute. Maybe you can tell us more, or Sanja, you can tell us more. Yeah.
For the BioSense currently, it's important to create the ecosystem of companies that will need the research, because we are underdeveloped in that sense that there in the market here. You don't have much companies that they will knock your door and say, I would like to have this research question, please. So how by forming the startup, you have some entity additionally who works on the commercialization. Of course, for the researchers is a great trade-off how much you will be involved. But then you create, in the startup that we are running, we have complete set of new people that otherwise won't work as a researchers, but they have the innovative jobs. For example, utilizing machine learning and modeling for the researchers to build the predictive modeling same day. We want new research question, of course. So this is some line where we combine this. As a founder, you need to be present at some point, but then the new people will be started. They will be in charge for product delivery and those kind. For the researchers, you cannot do it, because otherwise you won't have time for the research. And how we opening the market for the research is, for example, our startup can apply for some funding that institute cannot, but then it needs some part that is related to the research. And then it can hire BioSense experts or jointly apply to combine these two expertise. So in that way, we create additional jobs and we add more into the research. So this is it would be different if we are very developed countries. So then there would be the other startups that they need crop classification, I don't know, and then they will ask for a product or for a research question from the institute to answer it. But we are not that developed market, so we need to build the ecosystem. So for the country that already have the ecosystem of the lot of players, of course, some of them we want and ask research institutes to help them. So in that sense, we got the BioSense also benefited in that sense that now the crop reached some stage and they need additional upgrade of the product, and then the researchers have their role again. So it's but for the research is a great trade-off between you have to give some time to the startup, because otherwise it will fail. So this is in the beginning more, and once you form the team that there is delivering the product, then you have some time for yourself to back to the research.
Yeah, just to be clear, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a consultant. It's just that for us, and we're really partly in a really competitive market where there are a lot of consultancy doing, for example, habitat mapping or some of the GIS work we're doing where we're losing to consultants. But there is sort of that, okay, how far into that market do we go? I mean, we are a research institute, and sometimes we go into it and sometimes not. But they're also pushing, the consultancy are also pushing into the sort of research market and say, oh, we can do that research, or we can do that, even though we strongly believe that they can't, but they're really good at selling their sort of product which doesn't exist. I mean, sort of,
that was my next question.
That's a really tricky part in this as well.
Yeah.
For us, that they sort of take our ideas and say, oh, we can do it better and cheaper, and then the government says, great, you'll do it. So it's a tricky one.
I come from a mixed institute, and because it's a research institute, but we also have the knowledge transfer is also quite important, because we're linked to the university, and that's one of the key points. We were in Spain. We had not only in Spain, it was in Europe, the whole Europe. In 2008, the big crisis that started, and in our case, it was really harsh because we were quite new and we were starting, and we faced exactly the same things that you're saying. It was, in our case, my institution is Environmental Hydraulics Institute of Cantabria, and it was quite tricky because it was formed basically by engineers, pure researchers, and the fact that we had to do that trade-off, saying well, if we want to fund our research, we have to spend some time doing some consultancy because otherwise we're not going to make it. And one of the key issues is not to forget about the quality of the science and the research that we're doing. Like if we do the same thing as all as the enterprises or whatever, we won't be different. The matter that differentiates us from them is that we are researchers, and by assuring the quality and going a step forward and saying like, well, we are researchers at certain point we have to do some consultancy with the governmental, basically. That was the first thing that we did in the institute was to go. Well, our directors went all over the world, seeking, like, tapping at the door of the governments. And right now we have projects all over the world with, I don't know, in very different places where we were like, what? We're doing this? But we were all the time applying, like, we are researchers. We're doing this in a research where we're using this as a test bed to go a step forward in the research that we were doing and so on. So it's something that I think is super important, because otherwise, if you don't do any kind of, I mean, if you forget the scientific side of it, you will become, and with all of the respects, a consultant. And a consultant is fine, but you're going to be stuck at certain point. And that's something that, as what you were saying, Leonard, like many enterprises say, yeah, we can do this and that and whatever. And you say, like, no, what you're doing is fine, but you're not taking into account these and these and these and these. And it's just a click at the end. So you're not assuring the quality of the data. You're not assuring the, you're not being courageous in the way you're performing your work. So I don't know, it's just, but I'm a crazy scientist, so it's.
Yeah, and we are
the
biologists and ecologists here also are, but others are not, and they're making us big business.
Yeah, but this was just to say to everyone that this was actually excellent exercise that we promised in a proposal that somehow by working with our partners, we will be pushed to go and play this inter-center exercise. And this was that exercise, because they asked us what is the purpose of this, and I said, okay, I can answer it, but it's all for the squirrels, yeah. So if you ask me, the purpose is that I will have a habitats to model, and then I was talking with this team from Center of Information Technology, and then I triggered Milan to go read our project. He did even before, but then I wanted to see how he will transfer this that we promised in Sonata into the business model. So that's what he got. It's like totally output of what we wrote by this BDD team. Yeah. So, and he had to, to develop this, he had to call people from Center of Information Technology to talk with Maya and me several times. So it was like the full circle of interaction. So that's what we saw.
You all have a great point. Like for the product, the most important is a good base science. So this is pretty clear. What we also try here is that we, let's say, attract the companies from all over the world, that we do consultancy or development for them. For example, just today we had we having a call with a company from the United States. They want our expertise regarding the sensors. So for our researchers, it is amazing that they're being challenged. And here, what I experience from researchers who really want to work on something, they want a challenge. they want some real industry challenge to solve. And this is the great for us. And this is why we need to be as closer to industry as possible, so our researchers stay in a good shape regarding, innovative with a reason. Of course, they're doing great innovations and everything, but it's different when someone comes to you and say, okay, please solve this for me. And this is why we are also organizing here the incubator program. And this year, we want to really find some industry challenge and to say to people, okay, this year the challenge is, I don't know, drought or whatever. Please, we want just solutions that will work towards mitigating that issue. But really, really good points. Thank you.
I want to just add up that it depends, in my point of view, it really depends on the level of development of the country. For example, let's say in Norway, where you are really on the top level of different institutions development, so you can afford yourself to be more focused on like fundamental research and others. So, but in the smaller environment, let's say, and in this smaller scale, less sources for funding and everything, you should think about this like a cycle. Science serves to business, but business serves cycle as a sort of data, sort of, needs, and that should be like a chain between the organizations like institution, research institution, SMEs. And so I think this is the perfect way, because sometimes it is like you're doing like science, pure science, fundamental science, but you cannot find the people who really need your results, and these results are just, put under the table and like unnecessary knowledge. And I think that's an excellent opportunity to scale up, for example, from SONATA, to scale it up for a bigger region to serve the people, farmers and users. So I am advocating and fully support this.
Thank you so much.